You have to unmute to say hi. And for TSD, would you be able to let us know who is there as attendees? I can't see from here.
One moment.
Hey, this is Steve Malone. I'm here.
Thanks, glad to have you.
Thanks. Sorry I couldn't be there. I got short staffed and I got some stuff going on. So
Okay, sorry. Monroe County Government Technical Services Department. But I can't see the other one.
It says courthouse name,
And then,
courthouse name.
right, but underneath on the side, the white
It
one.
says courthouse.
Yeah, but. I don't know. It says Tina. I don't know who that is. I'm not sure who Tina is. Could she be allowed to speak so we can find out?
I believe she's just a member of the public.
Okay. Well, welcome, Tina. Guess we'll wait just one more minute to make sure that we have some sort of quorum. Did you all see the nice review that I'm just passing around the annual report that Eric Oliphant and Jean Kapler put together? I think it's very, very well done. And it was mailed out, Steve. Erica had sent it out with the agenda for today in the minutes.
Correct.
And I'd like to propose, even though it's not in the right order, I'd like to propose that we go ahead and have this presented to the Board of Commissioners, not only because I think it's so well done, but it's also a way as to publicize the fact that we'll have Sam Quinones here for Lunch and Learn and then in person. So that's just me wanting to publicize things, but I'd like to know what how the rest of you feel about that. Turn on. Oops.
I think that'll be wonderful, and I'm really looking forward to both of those events.
totally agree.
Great.
Yeah, I've never heard him speak, but I'm ready to listen. I'm trying to find some other stuff that's happening now. Stuff online.
He's got several books at this point. I haven't read The Least of Us, which is the one he'll be talking about in September, but I have my own copy, so I'm ready to mark it all up. Yeah, welcome, Melanie. If you want to be heard. The green, yeah. Yeah,
Hello.
hello.
Glad to be
Do you
here.
all know Melanie? Stop this, Nick. I know she knows you. Okay. Well, I will go ahead and call this meeting to order, and have you all had a chance to review the minutes?
I think that I picked them up online, but I would love a hard copy if you have them.
Nick? Yeah, I know. It's weird, isn't it? But this is what happens when they let me run the meeting. Does anyone have any corrections or additions to the minutes? If not, I would entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
I do not, but I'll make a motion to accept the minutes. This is
Thank
Steve.
you. Do I have a second? Third. Stop it, Nick. Okay. There's no comments. I'll go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Same. Okay. Sorry, I'm also the note taker today, so. Okay. Are there any announcements? Nick, did you want to? And then we'll turn to Kathy. We'll take her program as part of our announcements.
Okay, I don't know if this goes in the form of announcements or not, but we are currently trying to find a new building at the Indiana Recovery Alliance. And so we are trying to look into our partners and friends and people in the city and county to try and help us in that endeavor. We are also formally trying to figure out a way to appropriate some of the funds that were given for the opioid lawsuit. I don't know how that'll work or what that process is, but I'd like to somehow work through SUDAC to get something like that going. I feel like that's a great idea for us, or a place we can do that. I don't know the machinations, and this might be something else to talk in another place. I don't know, but those are two of the things that we've just reached a place where our building doesn't hold us anymore. It's just too small for what we are and what we could be. We have a clinic getting ready to happen in the fall that will have nurses coming and doing the practicum there. It is far too small to really give them the space they need for it. So I guess I'm just kind of asking, this is really informal, but if anybody has any ideas of buildings that are maybe, good for us and, or would be a fit, or know of some mechanism to get that. I just wanted to put it on the SUDAC board minutes so that we started to look at that as a team or as a community.
Nick, can you give an idea of what type of practicum they're doing? What type of space would they need for a clinic?
Yeah, so it's IU Public Health Nursing, and what they will be doing as part of their curriculum will be to learn harm reduction from the Indiana Recovery Alliance. I imagine that might even be a component with the SSP. We'll have to talk about that. I don't know how that works, but I think just basically understanding harm reduction from harm reduction's point of view, it means better treatment of people who use drugs, IDing that early on in their curriculum so that they can mitigate those as they go through their nursing career, talking about stuff like just different strategies to make sure that people who use drugs or substance use issues or have substance use problems, they can understand how to navigate that through a harm reduction lens instead of just through the disease model.
Okay, so basically harm reduction and what you're doing right now, would it be providing immunizations, wound care, et cetera? So would you need a medical space or just a space similar to what other people are using at your office?
Really good point. Thanks. I don't know about the medical space. A safe room with running water is what I've heard and talked about would be the best. Greg Carter is the professor who's been doing this. He has said we can do it with what we have because this is so important. It's not optimum. It's not the best that we have. Sometimes we just have to make do. When I was asked what building, I'm not quite sure of footage and all that. I know that our building is really small, but I looked at a building called the Fagan Stone Building, and that was like my ideal of space that we would need, like in terms of how big and what kind of faculties we could make out of there. But yeah, it would be great if we had running water. We need private rooms for wound care. We need private rooms for HIV and HCV testing. We need all of those things that we don't have. A building that provides those.
Thanks. And that I was driving around town looking at things too, so.
I also wanted to put on there, I thought it would be great. I was looking at all these, I went and met with the mayor and asked him about the opioid money, and they explained it wasn't under his purveyance or whatever, and to ask the county. So I'm speaking into the SUDAC now officially, saying that the mayor told me no, and that maybe there's another mechanism we can do. I don't know how this works. I don't know politics, and I have no idea how it works. But it would be really nice to see some of that settlement money go to harm reduction in some facet, whether it's through more money to our joint our joint venture with the health department. It doesn't matter. It's just some of that money should be given to harm reduction, since that we're such a vital part of Bloomington and we do such a huge load here. So I just want to throw that in there.
I will comment on the fact that the county has received some opioid settlement money, and that we expect to receive more in the future as additional settlements occur. But it was my understanding that the city of Bloomington also got some opioid settlement money. So we may have to ask additional questions before we can move forward on some of that. But in support of the fact that some of that money should go toward harm reduction.
Thank you. It means a lot to me. I know that someone to the city and to the county, and I know that this is hard stuff to talk about. And I just wanted to make sure that our community could talk about it. You know what I mean? The people of all of us who are all doing this work every day could have a say and maybe voice our opinions. Thanks.
You can always move that mic over, by the way, Nick.
That'd be novel.
Okay. Well, but they can't hear you online if you don't. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to turn this over to Kathy Hewitt now. I believe she has a presentation for us. And Melody, sorry.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Kathy Hewitt from the Monroe County Health Department, and this is Melanie Bestledge, also from the Monroe County Health Department. And we have been partnering with IU Health Bloomington Hospital, Bloomington Parks and Rec, HealthNet, and Community Voices for Health in Monroe County on a community health assessment within the last couple of years. And we're here today. We wanted to share some of the information we found and invite everybody to participate in an upcoming CHIP or Community Health Improvement Plan process that will be starting on July 14th. So today we're going to give you just a little bit of background about what we did and hopefully excite your interest in what's coming up. Okay, next slide, please. So as I said, the partners in this were the Health Department, City of Bloomington, Community Voices, Indiana Health Bloomington, and HealthNet. This is actually the third round of the Community Health Improvement and CHIP for the Health Department, IU Health, and the City Parks and Rec. So our new partners this year were Community Voices and HealthNet.
I guess next slide, please. Great. So what is a community health assessment? This is something that we know a lot about in public health spheres, but the general population might not be as familiar with. So this is a systematic process involving the community, and we're looking to identify, analyze, and prioritize issues that affect our community health. Over the past couple of years, partners from the Community Health Assessment, or CHA, have gathered health data and perspectives of hundreds of community members to better understand local health conditions and priority issues. Oh, can I be heard? Oh, goodness. I'll start over again. Or we're good. Okay, great. So over the past couple of years, we've gathered a lot of health data to get the perspectives of community members to just better understand the local landscape of health conditions and priority issues. And so this assessment, or the CHA, will serve as a guiding document for these CHIP or community health improvement plans that we're going to start developing here soon. Next slide.
So what is a community health process? So the community health process, or CHA, has involved a significant amount of planning and coordination among the partners. It also included a community health survey that was made available online through social media, on websites, through email, and at the mass COVID vaccine clinics that were hosted both by the Monroe County Health Department and at IU Health Bloomington. We hosted many focus groups and deliberative groups and discussions to gain a better understanding from our local residents on what they felt about the health conditions of the community. In addition, we collected community health data from many, many government sites and nonprofits to see what we could say what the data said about the health issues. We then analyzed the health data as well as the community residents' input and determined 10 priority health issues that affected Monroe County. The next step was what we called our think tanks. And at the think tanks, we presented data on the 10 priority issues. Then we held discussions about each of the issues. At the last part, the attendees voted on what they felt were the 3 or 4 highest priority issues for the community so that we could work on those in the upcoming community health improvement plan. Throughout the process, we tried to create opportunities where we could hear from everybody, a broad range of voices, especially those who were unrepresented, and support their attendance at the community events. We did that by providing childcare, transportation, holding the meetings at different times of the day and on different days to make sure that more people could attend and that options were available for those who wanted to participate. We also provided for an ASL interpreter and for a Spanish-speaking facilitator to make those options broader as well. We tried to listen very carefully to all the community perspectives and all their stories to make sure that we were accurately hearing and conveying what they had to offer. And then we trained community members so that they could serve as facilitators themselves and note takers, so we were able more fully to capture what the stories that the community representatives shared. Next slide, please.
So these are the 10 priority health issues. And as we mentioned earlier, our team had identified these 10 priority health issues from our research and conversations with other community members. So during April and May, during those think tank discussions, members of the community came together to discuss and cast their votes about issues that they thought that were most important to address. And narrow down those priorities because, 10 is an awful lot. So we tried to narrow it down to just top 3. So this took place with some discussion about each of those individual priority health areas. And then everyone had 3 votes to cast to narrow those votes down between the 2 sessions. Next slide, please.
One slide back, please. Okay. The top priority issues that were selected after everybody voted were substance use, mental health, poverty and navigating health and social services, and inequity, discrimination, bias. Affordable housing, homelessness, and housing insecurity was also a top priority. However, this issue is being addressed by the United Way of Monroe County and Community Foundation of Bloomington and the Monroe County Heading Home Initiative. Next slide.
Yeah, and those are the indicators of those top 3 priority issues with a note at the bottom about the affordable housing at the bottom. And then next slide, please. So the formation of the CHIP groups and the action teams. So the next step and why we're kind of here today, well, to share this information, but also to ask, is we're going to be developing the community, Monroe County Community Health Improvement Plan, or CHIP. So these CHIP teams are going to be formed around those 3 priority areas that we just talked about. And so these team members, we're going to work together to review the recommendations from community members based off of that community health assessment. And hopefully we'll be working together to co-create goals and strategies from the ground up. So the community members are making these goals and strategies that are designed to move our community forward towards change. And so this kickoff meeting for these CHIP action groups is going to be held on Thursday, July 14th from 12 p.m. until 1 p.m. at the Fountain Square Ballroom here in downtown Bloomington with an extra half hour afterwards available for networking. So participants are going to be asked to attend regular meetings as scheduled by the CHIP teams. And the thought is to have a larger, so like all of the 3 CHIP groups meeting on a regular basis. So maybe 3 or 4 times a year. In the past, these meetings have been monthly, which is really helpful in making sure that we're making progress towards those specific goals and objectives. And if you aren't able to attend the kickoff meeting in person, you can sign up for the CHIP groups online. We've got a link up here, the bit.ly CHA and CHIP. It's also on the Monroe County Health Department's website. If you go to population health and click on, I think it's Community Health Assessment and Improvement Plans. And you can also email me, and my email is up here at mveslage@co.monroe.in.us. Yeah, and these will be supported by staff from the Monroe County Health Department, City of Bloomington Parks and Rec, IU Health Bloomington Hospital, as well as people that were a part of the Community Voices for Health in Monroe County. So you're not going to be alone if you're participating in these groups or you're co-leading. We just really want to encourage people from the community and other groups like the folks here at SUDAC to participate, because your voices are so important, and you know what's best from the ground up. So any other?
We would encourage anybody who's interested in wanting to help work on plans to improve the health in the community to come join us. I think it'll be a very active groups. And we'd love to have you participate. If you can't join us or you don't have the time to put in another thing, you can stay up to date. Once we get going, we'll have a page on the Monroe County website where people can find meeting minutes as well as activities and see upcoming meeting times. So we hope to make contact with you soon.
Yeah, thank you so much. And these are really actionable teams. So it's not something that's just kind of like, set it up on the shelf. By having the involvement of the community members and really getting involved, I think it's something that's really powerful, a powerful public health tool. So just throwing that plug in there too. So, but thank you so much.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you. Do any of the members of the commission have questions or comments?
I'll be there.
Excellent. We have some flyers that were given to us. Where can people get copies of these?
We'll have copies up on the website that people can download. And what we have, these are, the front copy is what about the community survey. We had 760 people complete the community survey, and these are the results. These are the results of the survey as well. Here is the focus groups and information on the focus groups. And these are what people said during the community deliberative sessions. So you can find a lot of information in that. We also gave you a summary of what happened of the overall CHA, Community Health Assessment, which is located on the Monroe County website page, as well as the complete CHA and what happened at the think tank. So there's a lot of information you can find out just by going to that website. So thank you.
Thank you.
Kathy, is there any chance you could email that to the SUDAC board members by chance? Is that possible?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'd appreciate it if you could. Thank you.
I wish I were sitting here with my computer linked up so I could put it into chat for everybody so that it would be there. But yeah.
Yeah, it's on the website right now. And also, if you're looking to receive email communication about any of these work groups going forward, I have a link that's also on the website. So you can go to the health department website on the population health and outreach page under the health assessment and improvement plan subtopic. And there should be at the very top a link that says something along the lines of if you want to sign up for email communication or get involved, if you're not able to attend the kickoff meeting, you can click on that link and it'll take you to a Google form. So you can indicate your interest in either just receiving email communication about the groups, participating in the groups, or being a co-leader or some sort of a leadership role there, as well as an option to put in another person's email. If you know somebody that might want to be a participant in this group, you can plug in their email. We ask that you use a public email so you're not just giving people's personal information if they're not okay with that. But that's also an option too. So trying to make a lot of options for signups and getting this information out.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. I'm especially, what I think is important to note is that substance use and mental health made the top 3. And so
Yeah.
these are some of the things that we've been talking about. So I really appreciate you bringing it here to us today.
Substance use and mental health has made the top 3 in the last 3 rounds. So it's
was-
always one of the biggest issues in the community.
It was nice. We were at those groups. It was nice. Most people genuinely wanted to talk about it. I think our community generally wants to talk about it. I think some of it's harder to talk about than others, but the more we push it out there, the more we get it out of that ugly light, I think the better we are.
Well, no, the more we talk about it, I think it reduces stigma as well and makes it so that others can come forward. So I really value what's been happening.
It is, we miss so many voices. That's one of the things we've been concentrating at the IRA a lot about, like how many voices are we missing? Like we know who we're getting, where are the ones we're missing? You know, who's not being told they're okay, who's not being told they're loved, who's not being told we want you here, you know?
I really like that framework. I really like that framework.
I think it has to be that way, you know?
I am going to defer if it's okay, discussion of commission members. We do need to check on a few. I think Cass Botts is moving or has moved.
I'm not sure Cass just has the space or not to do it. Cass is not moving. Cass has taken on a role with National Viral Hepatitis Roundtable. And it's one of those jobs that requires, at least at the beginning, a huge, you know, it's a national group. And so Cass has just been beleaguered with work. Her partner also moved to New York. So like trying to go to all these, right now she's at a conference in New Orleans that she couldn't get out of, you know, things like that. So I don't know. I will have a talk with Cass and see, you know, that's why we have Whitney back.
Right.
Thank God. So
Which we
like,
appreciate.
yeah. So we're trying to get as many other people and from other places here as we can, you know, but I will check with Cass, and by our next meeting, I'll ask if they want to step back or not, or what they feel like, or if they just want to be advisory on the peripheries of our world and chime in when we need them. I don't know, you know, I think Cass brings a whole lot that I don't want to. It's one of those people, like if we needed a finite set of knowledge for a finite thing, it'd be nice to have, you know? So I don't know about attendance, like if we have attendance rules or anything, but like.
Well, and I'm sorry that Karen Rinbeck isn't here for the rest of you to meet her, but I'll check in with her and find out, make sure she knows. I thought she knew when the meetings are, but sometimes things come up, as we all know. But Whitney, welcome. It's been a while since I've gotten to see you too. Upcoming lunch and learns. Sam Quinones is scheduled for August the 30th at noon. I've also reserved this room for people who want to participate in person or who may not have access to virtual kind of ways to do this. So he's scheduled to start at noon, but we've scheduled the virtual link to start as early as 11:30 so that people can be on there and be ready when he is ready to speak. And his latest book that he'll be talking about is The Least of Us. So we're encouraging the library, I think, to get a few extra copies for folks too. And then he will be coming to town September the 13th and 14th. And I'm really proud that the SUDAC group is paying for the rental for the Buskirk Chumley for his speech. And then others are taking care of the other costs associated with his visit. But from what I understand, part of the interviews for his new book were done here in Bloomington.
Nice.
So nice, but don't you wish they weren't necessary?
Always.
So Nick, would you be able to help generate flyers? We have the Zoom link. I can get that for you.
Yeah, of course. Generate flyers, you mean make one like creatively?
Well, we
I
need
have
to be
a- I
able to
have a-
publicize the two different, both the lunch and learn and his visit. So,
Do you mean, will I disseminate them on my,
well, it
Pub-
says, can you generate a flyer once we have the Zoom? link?
that's what I was, okay, yeah, so I can generate flyers, like I could make one, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Creatively, if you wanted. If that's what people want me to do, although Melanie is very creative. So maybe me and Mel can work, if you want to work on a flyer together.
If I'm allowed to do that within my job duties, then I'd be happy to help out or advise at least.
Yeah, we also have, I have a development team, like I can just give it to them and they can do it, you know, and then you guys can have access to how it looks and whatever, you can just work with them if that helps or whatever.
Well, okay, I will then turn it over to Melanie and Nick. And could you then send something back relatively soon, since this first?
So a hard date would be good for us.
We there is money in our budget, I think, so that we could, as long as we vote to spend the money that way. I don't know how much these things cost.
If it's one-sided and it's 8 by 11, like regular size, Mr. Copy will do 1,000 for $100, and then you get a 10% discount if you're a government entity. So,
Where is this?
Mr. Copy. 10th Street.
We probably need to have a motion and vote to allocate money from the SUDAC budget.
I move to allocate $100 or what it should cost to do in order to print the posters once they're developed.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Oh, go ahead, Nick.
Is there any discussion?
Could you please give me a hard date that you want the stuff done by? It's just easier for me to work with a hard date.
Can you have it done in 2 weeks?
I think 2 weeks is perfectly fine. So 2 weeks, so not next Friday, but the Friday following would be what date?
July the 1st, I believe. Is
Thank you.
that right, Melanie? Sorry,
No, it's like
no pressure, no
just
pressure, right?
just pulling it up on my calendar. I'm using my phone instead of my computer today.
I know, it's always, yeah.
Yes, that would be July, or yes, July 1st, Friday,
Okay.
July 1st.
So if you guys can send that to us for any edits, and then we'll get it, we'll work on making sure I'll take this to the county council for an appropriation. Can we have a vote on this? All those in favor of using $100 for flyers, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Same.
I don't know if I have a vote or not, but
We're going to join, we're going to merge you with this. Okay, next item. Nick, have you been able to get in touch with Dr. Cook about a potential lunch and learn in November?
I have not gotten in touch with Dr. Cook yet. I sent him an email and he didn't respond. I'm actually on a coalition with him now that is new. We have which will become, we'll have a much bigger opening when this actually comes through, but he's part of that coalition. Our next meeting is next week, so I'll bring it to him next week and then see what we can talk about then and get like, I'll know by then, basically. So by our next meeting or 2 weeks or however you want to set it out. I'm pretty sure he'll do it. He's a pretty good guy.
I don't want to take this over, but I assume that if we know by our July meeting, that would be plenty of time to work on it for a November kind of lunch
He
and
could-
learn.
He could give me an answer by then.
Okay, fabulous. Great. Great. Paint the town purple. Kathy, any updates?
I don't have any updates right now. I believe you do though.
We do have the lawn reserved, so that's been taken care of. So we'll get to work on that. Thank you.
I
We'll
do
do
have
it-
some things left over from last year though that we can use.
Okay,
Do
Good.
we have to put in for tabling space there? How do we do this? I've never been part of the Paint the Town Purple.
Do we have,
Have we ever done it before?
you
Like-
wanted to know about putting in, requesting table space?
Or do we do, I've never been to a Paint the Town Purple, so I don't know what it requires or if there is a space for the IRA there or how we do it. So
there's absolutely a space for the IRA, but you don't necessarily need to table. It's a celebration for everybody to celebrate recovery, no matter
Oh.
where you're from.
okay.
So,
Could you speak into the mic? Sorry, because it gets recorded with,
In the past, what I remember the IRA doing is having the bus come to paint the town purple, and of course, we would bring in chairs and,
we'll have chairs.
okay. I just remember in the past always doing something like that on that date.
Could we possibly block off some parking space for Larry?
we have blocked off some parking spaces in the past for food trucks. There might be room for Larry to, as we get closer and we get city permission, we can let you know.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Larry's what you call your van?
Yes.
Yes, just the van though.
Okay. All right. Opioid settlement. I'm sorry. I think I found out stuff about what the funds were restricted to, and I have forgotten. So I will have to try to find that out again and then report back, but I will make myself do that. And Nick has already talked about the desire for the IRA to find a permanent space, which, and a bigger space with separate rooms, and it all sounded very reasonable as in terms of what is needed, especially to do the work that you all do.
And to expand, I looked at a building on West Second Street, I think it's the Women's Health Building, 1010 West Second Street. It's $1.5 million. And I don't know if there's that much money for us there, but boy, that's a nice building. When I saw the price tag, I flipped out. I thought, oh, 400,000. Yeah, that's not 1.5.
Well, we would have to save our pennies for a long time, I think. Yes, 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 yeah. Okay, item number 8 on our agenda. It lists the current available balance for the SUDAC funds. These are current. It's $29,735.52. And Eric Oliphant has been working with Jill Newman in the Commissioner's office to get those funds appropriated into separate lines for use, is all that is. It just makes it easier to make requests. Number 9, the distribution of posters and brochures. Several of us took things last month. We found out that all the Spanish versions have already gone out the door. I think because I took a bunch over to the library to El Centro. But if anybody wants any more of the posters or flyers, we have them still here in the Commissioner's office.
May I just ask, are those the SUDAC flyers or are those for something else specifically?
No, they're specific. Well, they're not exactly SUDAC flyers. They're
Well, they were created by SUDAC. The flyers were created by SUDAC, but they were to support recovery in different ways. So
Okay. Or those like the series of 4 or 5? sort of thing?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure that I was
okay.
following. I'd be happy
So I can show them to you after the meeting. How's that? Okay.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Number 10 on here is the 2021 report that I had passed around a little bit, that Erica Oliphant and Jean Kapler put together. And I think it's very, very nicely done. It was sent out in the email from Erica that was sent to the commission, the SUDAC commission. I hope you've all looked at it. Erica put a question on here about whether or not our membership needs to approve it before it goes to the Board of Commissioners. If you've all looked at it, I'd like to know if you have any reaction to it. Steve?
I looked at it. I like the looks of it. I really do. There's a lot of information there, a lot of good information.
I think it really captured all the things that were done this past in 2021. When I looked at it, I'm just like, did we really get all that, accomplish all that? It was pretty impressive, but it includes things like Paint the Town Purple and some of the stuff that from Indiana Recovery Alliance. So
Millington Learns.
the Lunch and Learns, right?
I really like this letter. I hadn't seen this. Letter to the mayor. I hadn't
Yes.
seen that.
Yes.
Well done, Sudak.
It's got
So,
good information there about the public awareness campaign as well. And the posters and designs and stuff we're doing. So I really do like what they did and how they put it out there.
Yes. So is there a motion to forward this to the Monroe County Board of Commissioners?
I move to forward it to the Monroe County Commissioners.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second. This is Steve. I'll second.
I was trying to give somebody's.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any other discussion or ideas about additions that should go into it? If not, can we have a vote? All those in favor of forwarding this to the Board of Commissioners, say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, we'll ask them to forward it. Then the other question was, should Jean and Erica present this in person to the Board of Commissioners? I've already shared with Kathy that I think it would be good because it would be another way to also help publicize the fact that Sam Quinones will be coming in. And if we have something firmed up with Dr. Cook before that, that we could use that as a vehicle to publicize that lunch and learn as well.
Might even be nice if we were there to support them as they did that.
The public is invited to all the Board of Commissioner meetings, and we're back in person and virtual. We're running hybrid meetings now. And so every Wednesday almost at 10 a.m., we're here in this room. So people are invited to come at any time. So I will ask Erica and Jean, if that's okay with you, how they would like to proceed, but you're welcome to come and talk about things. You're welcome to come and talk about the Indiana Recovery Alliance anytime you want. You're welcome to come and present like the information that Kathy and Melanie just presented on the community health assessment and things like that. So yes, you're welcome. Yes.
I'd like to add too that I love having the hybrid meetings because I can watch every week to see what's happening now. Whereas before I couldn't always come to the meetings, but now I can stay up and I can watch the commissioners meetings. So
Great. Great,
it
great,
makes it
great.
much easier for people to attend.
So is the recommendation of the group here that yes, it be presented in person to the Board of Commissioners? Steve, do you have anything you want to?
No, I agree. I'd like to be able to be there to support Jean and Erica both on this. So whenever we do this, let us know, and I'd love to be there to help.
Okay, I will let them know, and I will note that in the minutes. Fabulous. Okay, I think we've pretty much gotten through the agenda for this week, or this month, I guess it is. Do any of the SUDAC members have anything that they'd like to bring that's not on the agenda? Whitney, do you have anything you'd like to share with us?
I just had a question. Is there an opiate summit this year? I feel like I got an email saying,
Well, we dropped the summits with COVID, and that's why
Yeah.
we went to the lunch and learns. We also felt like there was a little bit of fatigue from 3 straight years of the summits that we weren't drawing some people anymore. So we went to this partly, like I said, because of COVID, but also since we've expanded this beyond just opioids, we're looking at other substance use, well, other substances. Maybe it's time to consider going back to that, but I will leave that to the rest of the group.
I think it's something to talk about for sure. We have other, we have options that probably weren't open to us before nationally that we could go through. We just had Maya Salvat speak at the I'm sorry, I can't
It's like
remember.
the harm reduction training at the state for folks who are doing street outreach and other certain service program providers. But yeah, Maya Slavovitz, I think was her name.
Right, yeah. So like we have other, I think that we could do it really well. I think there's the vehicle too. I just think we need to really seriously think about planning and what we want to have and what we want to put into it, I think it's something to talk about at least. I think it's something to be great, we have diarrhea as a lot of more national focus as of late. So we have gotten a lot more notice, and it would be nice to draw those partnerships in to Bloomington if we could and get a glimpse of what's out there and then highlight what we do here. It really is really special what we do here. As Melanie can attest, people, it's unique enough to talk about, So yeah, I think talking about a summit is a great idea. I think we just need to plan carefully and not,
Sounds like something to start to consider for 2023.
I would support that. I also think that the landscape has changed. I know that I'm just hopping in here, but the landscape has changed and we've got more opportunities to connect, like Nick said, with national folks. I mean, even like the way that Maya came in, I mean, we were in a personal room, everyone was in the space, but she had to zoom in, but there was the capacity to have a conversation with her and to learn a lot, even if she wasn't able to physically make it, which makes things a little bit more accessible to a lot of like really cool projects and like really interesting speakers and people who are doing some really neat stuff. And like Nick said, we're doing a really cool thing here, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that we're at a time now, if we like, we could plan for, I don't think we could pull it off this summer. Do you know what I mean? Maybe. But if we plotted for 2023, like we could really bring in a lot of stuff with this HRSO program. We could we have the ZIP coalitions. I mean, we have a bunch of stuff that through our disparate groups, we could probably create a really unique, wonderful thing. You know, we've got these ZIP coalitions that are all throughout Indiana. We've got a whole bunch of street outreach teams that have formed from a state grant that all meet regularly, as well as a whole bunch of other groups that are all meeting in these groups regularly, that we could probably get buy-in, you know, from a lot of places to have a lot of stuff going on here. And I'd imagine the attendance would be huge. We'd have people coming in from all over Indiana. It'd be really nice to highlight what Bloomington is, why we're different, why we're special, what we do, and have other people come and share in that and then show us why they're special. You know what I mean? And I think Bloomington's the perfect place for it. I mean, we're centrally located. All these people think we're, you know, anyway, I think it's a really unique idea to talk about. The planning has to be done well.
Yes.
It does take a lot of planning to pull up a summit. So I think Penny's right, and start looking at it and talking about it for maybe next year. Sounds exciting though.
I think lots of planning.
I'll ask that it be put on the agenda for July. How's that? Start
Perfect.
the discussion.
Yeah, thank you.
I think that we also, one of the things that this group has been effective at is recruiting new members into the SUDAC Commission. So I think we are down a couple of members, and it would be good if we could find one or two more to have join us. So they need to go online at www.co.monroe.in.us and find the application form. But we can make that happen pretty quickly because it gets voted on by the Board of Commissioners. And again, we meet weekly, so we could get that done. So is there anybody else who wants to add anything? Steve, I don't know if you're still there.
I just need to ask do I need to submit an application, or is that a formal thing that I need to go
It would
to?
be nice
Okay.
just to have.
One
Yes,
last thing. There's a Southern Harm Reduction conference going on in Georgia. And for people that are like, may not have the money or whatever, there's scholarships and stuff. They're really trying to like get people who might not be able to get there. So if you know people that like would be interesting in harm reduction, or maybe just want to, you know, I don't know, but they're being really inclusive with low income people to try and get as many of the, you know, people affected by, you know, substance use, et cetera, whatever. I'm not saying this right because I'm chumbling over my words, but it's really wide open scholarship wise, and they're really trying to bring people there so that people without money could get there.
Okay, well, if nothing else, I will see you all, I think, July the 15th back here, and enjoy your day. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
It was nice to see you all.
Thank you.
Oh, just that it was nice to see you all. Nice to meet in person.